In team sports, the group that's able to perform best in unison often win championships. Usually, it doesn't really matter if you have a superstar if he hogs the ball all the time. However, equally dangerous is a weak link or someone who can't even do what he's expected to do. But that's the thing. Even in the NBA, some players are not just worth the hype. So in this video, we'll be talking about those with lackluster careers, aka the worst NBA players of all time. Get this, one of the players on this list had more fouls in his entire pro ball career than the number of baskets he made. Stay tuned if you want to know who that guy is. But before all that, let me remind you to leave a like, subscribe, and smash the notification bell button to get the latest updates on all things related to the world of basketball. Starting off this list is Kwame Brown. It's probably the understatement of the century to say that Brown has fallen short of every single expectation set to him, especially after being the very first pick of the 2001 NBA draft. If you don't believe me, then just check out his average. A measly 6.8 points and rebounds. Unbelievable! The worst part, and probably what people forget, is the fact that it was the GOAT, aka Michael Jordan himself, who drafted this big guy in the Pro League when MJ assumed the role as the Washington Wizards president of operations. Jordan's reputation may have been the only reason why Kwame's career lasted more than a decade. Clearly, not everyone who's great can make great managerial decisions. Shaking my head. Then there's Ronaldo Bachman. To be honest, there wasn't much fanfare when this Puerto Rican was drafted into the NBA via the New York Knicks. However, he's the kind of player you would notice for just being so damn bad. Think about this. Throughout his NBA career, he only had an average of 4.1 points and 3.5 rebounds in every game. No coach would put him in if the team is not leading at least by 40 points. So it wasn't surprising that Bachman bailed the NBA and joined the Philippine League, where he made a name for himself after choking one of his teammates during a bad meltdown. Moving on to the double trouble, Jason and Jarron Collins. If you thought Bachman was bad enough, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but there are other players even worse than him. Take these twin brothers for example. Jason Collins had an embarrassing 3.9 PPG and less than 1 rebound per game. But he was an unforgettable player during his time for being the first active player who come out as gay. While his NBA career was short-lived, Jason is now living his best life as an LGBT advocate. On the other hand, Jason's twin brother did a little better than himself. Jarron chipped in 3.9 points and 4 rebounds during his playing years. Fortunately, Jarron was able to find his true calling akin to playing basketball, and that's being a coach. He's now the Golden State Warriors assistant coach and is doing fairly better now in the sidelines. Next, we have Steve Novak. His name might sound familiar to you because just like Jarron Collins, his new vocation isn't too far away from basketball itself. Steve Novak is now a certified professional television analyst at Fox Sports Wisconsin. However, I'm not sure all his commentating is enough to remove his painful memories as a player for the New York Knicks when all he was able to give was 4 points and at least 1.1 rebounds a game. No wonder he switched careers. Elliot Williams' name has also been branded as one of the worst players ever, at least in the NBA. Why? Well, many players get riddled with injuries during their entire career with the NBA. After all, it's a pretty harsh sport in itself. But Williams had more timeouts because of his injuries than playing time. He played for a total of 12 seasons with the NBA, but he has never even reached double digits. Like ever! His best year was during his 0-3 and 0-4 season when he gave 9.6 points on average. What astonishes us in all this is that he was signed by the Memphis Grizzlies for a whopping $35 million contract with nothing to show for it. What a lucky guy! All NBA teams have made mistakes when drafting a potential star, but the Toronto Raptors perhaps made the biggest mistake when they drafted Rafael Araujo for the 8th pick in 2004. To be fair though, this 6'11" center did show promise when he chipped in 24 points and 12 rebounds during his stint in the NCAA tournament, but then he choked during his NBA debut and became one of the most disappointing players in Raptors history. To give you some context, you should know that between the 9th and 20th picks of the same year, 2 players ended up being part of the NBA All-Stars. I'm pretty sure that made the Raptors management become more careful about their picks from then on. For some reason, a lot of team managers believe that foreign players could bring their team's performance to greater heights. And most often than not, they're not wrong. However, the likes of Nicolas Stikishvili are an exception. The Denver Nuggets regrettably spent their precious 5th pick with this big guy who can't even shoot well. The Georgian player can only do so much as 6.6 accurate shots on average, and his rebounds are less than 2 per game. Think about it. He's a massive 7-footer who still can't take command of the paint. Retirement doesn't exempt anyone from harsh criticisms, and Michael Ruffin learned this the hard way when he ended his career with less than stellar stats. He actually graduated from the league as one of the most controversial players because, get this, he managed to accumulate almost 1,000 fouls throughout his career. But that's not the most amazing part. It's actually the fact that he had more fouls than he ever scored during his 9-year stay in the NBA. His career best average was already 2.6 points and 5.8 rebounds, and that happened during his 2nd season. With this kind of record, it begs us to question why he was ever hired by 6 different teams anyway. If you do know the answer to that, let us know in the comment section below. We're down to the last 2 players, and in 2nd place is Sun Yue, who everybody thought would be the next Yao Ming. The reigning champs, the Lakers themselves, gambled when they brought in their Asian import who came from the NBA D-League. Unfortunately, he did not live up to the hype and garnered 4 fouls and 2 turnovers all within 5 minutes of playing. In his entire stay with the Lakers, he only got 6 points and 10 fouls to show for it. Shame. On to the final spot is Luke Walton. He has since retired as an actual player and isn't that bad as a coach and a team executive. But man, he was definitely a bad player. Sure, he was part of the team when the Lakers won 2 championships, but he was only really lucky to be teammates with Kobe Bryant. And that's probably why he even had a career to begin with. I mean, the guy only scored 10 points out of those 2 championships, for God's sake. To be fair though, he's already doing well as a coach, so we have to hand that to him. And that ends our list of the worst NBA players of all time. Do you agree with our pick? Please be sure to thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it for more awesome content from our channel. Leave a comment down below for what you think our next video should be. Till next time, peace!